Hey folks, man, this is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Class of Cinematics, and I'm joined as always with my co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo.
Yeah, so still, Halloween horror season, so we've got another one for you folks, man. So we're going to be talking about Tales from the Hood from 1995. This is a film directed by Rusty Cundiff, and this is a horror anthology film. A creepy mortician, Mrs. Sims, attempts to scare teenage drug dealer Stack and his friends straight by telling them 4 horrifying stories. One is about a guilt-riddled cop who goes crazy after ignoring his corrupt partner. He also tells of a meek schoolboy with terrifying supernatural powers. Although the young thugs want to take their drugs and escape Mr. Sims, he still has 2 more tales to tell. And this film came out May 24th of 1995, and this cast is crazily stacked though for what it is, man. So we got the director; he has a role in this. We also got Clarence Williams III, who leads our anchor story in this. We also get appearances from Darren Scott, David Allen Greer, Corbin Benson, Joe Torry, Lamont Bentley, Rosalind Cash, Wings Hauser, Paula Jai Parker, Michael Massee, Tom Wright, Dwayne Whitaker, Art Evans, I love him from Trespass.
Yeah.
Brandon Hammond, DeAndre Bonds, Anthony Griffith, Roger Governor Smith. It's crazy, man.
Don't forget Samuel Monroe Jr. He plays a thug in every movie. He's the one who stomped out, or that Kane stomped out Menace.
Yeah, he's in Menace. I think he's in a lot of stuff.
He's in a lot of shit. Always playing the goon.
Yeah, he was working for a bit at that time, man. So, man, this thing is an interesting setup. We're here. We got our 3 thugs, you know what I'm saying? They're going to a funeral home at the behest of the funeral home director, who tells them, he lures them there by telling them he has some drugs that he found that he wants to sell them. So they're going here to get that. But as the synopsis said, once they get there, they've kind of got to sit through his 4 tales, before he decides to, give them this drugs.
Well,
man.
and that's the thing. Like, one thing I like about this movie is I don't know if anybody has never seen 1972's the British horror anthology Tales from the Crypt. Rusty Cundiff and Darren Scott both said that this film was heavily influenced by the way they, delivered this film. And that one's also free on Tubi, like this one. So I would strongly suggest checking that out. But the one thing that this one did is it was able to create its own lane and kind of give us a unique and original approach, being a horror comedy and everything, but also touching on like real life, real time things like, police corruption, domestic abuse, racism, gang violence, things like that. And, being able to do that in the way that this film did by still making it, watchable. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was a really cool approach, just to bring awareness and everything. And with every anthology film out there, I feel like personally the best ones have a great wraparound story, and this one does. The reasoning for why these stories are being told in the first place, I thought that was really cool. It's a great wraparound story.
Yeah, and just Clarence Williams III, man. He's good, man. He's really good. He probably has the most memorable performance in here. Even though he doesn't have much screen time, he's just in it, bro. I feel like
giving 100.
I feel like he was in another movie compared to everyone else. He's just locked in and just totally going. And it's wild because I feel like ideally they would have had the sequels coming out a lot faster. Or had sequels, you know what I'm saying? Because we didn't get a part 2 until like a couple years ago. But it would have been cool if they would have just been back to back in it, and he would have been the guy. He would have been the guy and leading, because he's just so good. You just want to see more of him. Absolutely, he's more interesting than some of the stories, to be honest.
Yes, most definitely. And like you said, he's leaning all the way into his character. And like you said, it's sad because by the time they did drop Tales from the Hood Part 2, they swapped Clarence Williams out with Keith David, because at that point Clarence Williams retired from acting, and then by the time the third one came, they used Tony Todd, and Clarence Williams had passed away by then. So that's what leads us into our first story. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well go ahead and
it's just interesting. The first story is kind of cool, man, because that's one thing this thing does have, man. It does have a bit of social commentary with each of these stories, and this one is kind of making a commentary on, police corruption and police brutality, because in this story, we have one black officer, and he observes his fellow partners roughing up this community activist, one night, and they beat him brutally bad. Like, it's one of these things bad. like this ain't the guy you want to beat up. He's already got too much eyes on him, too much media attention. He's already speaking out about the cops. So for him to show up, brutally beat, like you know what I'm saying? Like, pretty much, they maimed this guy, bro. That's how bad they beat him.
And
he's gonna have disfigurations. So what happens is the other officer kind of tries to step in, and they're like, "Get out of here, kid, man!" And they're kind of bucking back at him. It's like, you don't stand up to your fellow officers like this. You have our back. You know what I'm saying? And these cops are really bad. Not only is the brutality going on, but they've been operating a drug ring in this area. Selling drugs to the gangsters that kind of perpetrating, keeping the violence going, and then coming around to lock these guys up. But they say they're going to handle it, and they know they messed up, so they decide to set this guy up. They kill him pretty much and make it look like he's on drugs. He's dealing the drugs,
juicing them up and everything.
Yeah, and he's doing all the crazy stuff. So end up happening, our guy quits the force and was having issues with it. So a year later, almost to the date, he goes to he kind of gets a visitation from this guy's spirit. The activist that died is like, bring them to me. So he sets up, for these guys, he calls them his former, partners to come to this cemetery. He's like, yo, we should at least pay our respect, man. That's the least we could do, man. You guys did him dirty. And they're kind of just wanting to get this guy out of here. They don't know what he wants, but they're kind of just like, all right, man, we'll go along with this shit. And it's crazy because this is where the horror element sets in. Yeah. Our dead activist rises from the grave and just starts killing these dudes one by one. And it's probably one of the most interesting as far as we were talking earlier with the effects work and the makeup.
The makeup.
And that aspect of it. Because this guy does have that kind of Walking Dead risen, look to him, and it looks really good, really convincing. You know what I'm saying? And the activist was played by Tom Wright, which coincidentally enough in Creepshow 2, Tom Wright also plays. He's the guy that's getting ran over by the car.
Gets ran over and comes back to haunt. So this is something he's good at.
Also in one of my favorites, Mark for Death. That's Seagal's buddy that goes to Jamaica to get revenge on one of the few Jamaicans in that movie that was actually Jamaican.
Yes,
right.
So. Man. He did a great job. This story is definitely entertaining, and probably one of the more spookier ones because of the makeup effects. I think that there is a lot of times when you get these close-up shots of Tom Wright when he's fully in full makeup and everything, and it leaves a lasting impression. You're like, oh man, got the green eyes and the distorted skin and everything. And he's killing at will, so that was cool, and they deserved it. So
it gets wild though. Like I did, it does. Because I'm laughing at it because like this thing, it is horror tinge, but it is like more like dark comedy.
It is
type horrors because I love when because now the revenge aspect. So the one officer's running down the alley and he starts shooting the needles at him.
Yeah, and he's like aiming them.
Yeah, he's like they're flying down the street, sticking them in his back, and then he's like crucified with needles and
melts into the mural. But one thing I did like about this story is how it took like the Candyman element, whereas no one else could see the spirit. You know what I'm saying? They all ended up thinking
so that's the crazy
that it was
part.
the guy Clarence who brought the cops back, and he was the one who went crazy and killed the cops.
He's not even off the hook because then the spirit grabs him last and he's like, why didn't you help me? And he's like, you tried, bro. Like you can't hold this. Is like the game was messed up.
He was a rookie. He didn't know. You know what I'm saying? He was getting game.
And if he kept pressing them, he probably would have been dead too. They probably would have set it up to make it look like the activist shot this rookie cop and had drugs and dope on him. So it's like, but that's probably why he kind of spared him because then the guy wakes up. But then it's kind of messed up because.
Did he spare him really? Because he went crazy.
But it makes me wonder: did the guy come from the dead and kill the cops, or did our rookie cop kill those guys? Kill the cops?
I think he was driven by the spirit of Martin Morehouse was the guy who got killed.
It's one of these ambiguous things that's kind of cool, man. This one is actually a strong story in my opinion. But then it's like because it's like. did he do it or is it all in his head? You know, because he wakes up in the
was he
mental
really
ward.
crazy? Because I mean, at the end when they show him, you know, in the straitjacket, he's like, I mean, he looked full on crazy. So
And the dudes are like, he's like, man, he killed a cop.
and then the dude was like, dig this, he used to be a cop.
Yeah, and he used to be one of them. I was like, yo, that is wild, bro.
Yeah, man, catch 22, man.
Yeah, it's
so
goofy, man.
You know, and then of course, you know, after this, you know, Mr. Sims is navigating, you know, our three dealers that are still, you know, aggressively looking for the shit, you know, and he's like, oh, they stumble on another coffin. And what I like about this one is they open up the coffin. They don't show us what's inside the coffin, but we see the reaction of the guys. They're like, whoa, what the hell? What really happened right here? And that leads us into our next story. And what I like about this story is it really tackles, you know, a heavy subject matter when it comes to domestic violence, and home abuse and stuff, which is, that's not cool on any level. But the way that they put this on the forefront and then, you know, kind of give it this whole supernatural vibe is really cool. So we follow young Walter. You know, he's a new student. His family just moved, and, you know, of course, you know, sometimes when new students show up at a new school, you know, they get bullied. You know, it happens, you know, especially back in the day, you know, and this is before cyberbullying was even a thing. So, of course, you know, the big man in school, you know, when they were at recess, he was beating them up and everything. So on his first trip to the nurse, you know, they're addressing his wounds and everything, but the nurse realizes that he has existing bruises. And so she pulls his teacher in, which that's cool because the teacher was played by Rusty Cundiff, who was actually the man who directed the film as well.
Yeah. And it's funny because he has kind of the dreads, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, she pulls him in and she's like, man, you know, what's concerning to me is this black eye he has. This is a few days old. So, you know, we might need to look into this. And so, you know, them getting, you know, young Walter to confide into them, he expresses what was happening and he refers to his abuser as the monster. Okay, the monster came back. The monster comes in my room at night and beats on me and stuff. And what I like about it is, like, they show us these glimpses and you see him sitting in the bed and you just see the shadow figure of the monster. And it looks really monstrous, hideous. And as you know, as we're going through this, we get a couple of days of school and everything, and, you know, it's the same stuff, almost to the point where, you know, young Walter don't even want to go to by the young man that's bullying him and stuff. And one of his classmates suggests to him that he draws pictures of the things he's afraid of and then destroys the pictures as a means to destroy the fear. You know what I mean? And it's wild because, you know, of all these monstrous pictures he's showing his teacher, he's like, yeah, you know, all these monsters, this is the monster that comes in my room. And then there was one picture of a little dude, and he was like, yeah, I can't remember the little dude's name that was beating on him, Billy or something like that. He was like, yeah, that's him. And, you know, after the teacher leaves, he crumbles up the picture. And then you just hear these bones cracking, this sound of bones cracking, and this little dude go, ah! And then the ambulance is out there, and then you see the teacher asking another teacher what happened, and he's like, oh, yo, I'd never seen it before. It's like the dude just collapsed, and he was like, how do you break both legs and both arms on the way down? So what that does is then that
this is effectively, he can make what was it? Voodoo dolls with his drawing.
With his drawing,
you know.
Yes, and it shows that what it did was it showed us as viewers that now he has a way to combat the monsters, or combat his monsters in his life, and that was really cool. And then, you know, where this film really this story really takes a wild turn is we then get thrust into the household. The teacher wants to come to the home, and that's where it gets really wild because the stepfather is played by David Allen Greer, who, you know, at this point, you know, we all knew him for his roles in the sketch comedy and Living Color, and, you know, he was in various movies, always a comedic actor. And you know, the teacher comes, talks to the mom a little bit about what's going on with the bruising and stuff. And as soon as he references the monster, the mom gets upset at him. Like, I told you, stop talking about this monster stuff. Which that's kind of just crazy that she's acting naive, that she doesn't really know.
She knows, man.
She knows what's going on.
It's like the battered wife, battered spouse syndrome. Like she's
out of sight, out of mind kind of thing.
But she, I mean, I think she fully knows, but she knows also by them, talking to an authority about it, it's just going to make it worse for them.
It's going to make it worse.
Like,
and
they got to live with the guy.
Away. Yes.
They got to live with this guy.
And then it's wild because then you hear this like beeping of the horn, so because of course like the mom is like flirting with the teacher and everything, and all this craziness. And then
he's a nice guy compared to what she's
used to. Exactly. So she's like, shit, grass is greener, But then you hear the horn beeping, and then like in walks David Alan Grier, and he's like, yo, you heard me beeping the horn. Why you ain't open the door? So you kind of see these misogynistic, aggressive tendencies and very demanding presence from him, and next thing you know, like the teacher, tells David Alan Grier, is like, yeah, man, we got these issues, going on with your kid, or your stepson, he's bruised up and he keeps talking about this monster. Soon as the teacher leaves, David Alan Grier just leans all the way into his character. I mean, he switches his whole entire tune, kicks the kid's door in, starts beating on him, beating on the mom. Teacher comes back in to save the day, beating on the teacher. I mean, he's kicking everybody's ass in like the worst way possible. And then what was really cool is you see everything come full circle where the young Walter, he picks up the pitcher and he creases the arm, and you see like David Alan Grier, what was his guy's name? Carl the abuser. His arm flips back, and then you see him get all twisted up. Whichever way you contort the paper, that's how his body's moving. And that was just really cool to see.
No, that was crazy.
Special effects wise,
when he's laying there,
twists the paper, and he's just, and I mean,
like a pile of just
his foot sticking out of his. He's like, I'm gonna get you, bitch. That was just really cool. And then the way that we finally see him, like the end result of him being twisted up like a pretzel. Then when we go back into the mortuary, they show us what's in the casket, and it's the burnt remains of the twisted up pretzel. So I thought that was really cool.
because they end up burning the paper drawing, so that lets them setting on fire. So it was cool, man. Like I think it was interesting. Like I said earlier, we were talking to have this look at domestic violence, in something like this, like a really kind of goofy horror film, but to have the wherewithal, I think that's where this thing elevates above some of the other films like this. Like Creepshow is cool, but it doesn't have the social commentary that each segment of this has built into it, I think, So that kind of, makes it like it feels like it was more purposeful to include these things in this film.
Absolutely. And to anybody who is a victim of domestic violence or had been, or whatever the case may be, I like how it really empowered the one who was getting abused. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Giving them a sense of like, hey man, this is not okay, and there is ways to fight back, even though they did it
my observation, my man, business is good, bro. At my man's funeral home, though, good.
Oh yeah, He got calls for days. You know what I'm saying? Because he's telling a lot of stories, and it seems like the steps just keep going down and down.
Yeah, so they go back into the shit, man. It's more talking, and we get into another coffin, man. And this one's kind of interesting. This is one
where he slams the coffin and the doll drops.
It's a doll, like there's no body, so there's a doll. It looks like a little kid's doll that they're playing with. So this story's interesting, man. We go into the a southern state, man. We've got a senator. It's kind of crazy. His name is Duke something, and I think that's definitely an intentional play on David Duke, who at the time was being real active. We playing on that, but what's interesting, this guy is real racist. I mean, it feels like Trump, bro. Like you look at the his campaign speech, man, and the stuff that he's platforming. He's all against, these segregation policies, reparations. He don't like affirmative action. So it seems eerily familiar, man, to what's going on today, with some of these politicians. But another controversial thing is, man, he's moved and set up his operation in this old plantation house. And the controversy here is that the owner of this plantation, I believe, if I'm correct, once the war ended, the Civil War ended, rather than free his slaves, he just decided, well, it's my property. If I can't have it, no one can, and lynched hundreds of slaves that were on this plantation. So the story in this film is that the spirits of this plantation, or those slaves, inhabit this plantation, and a lot of people feel like you shouldn't be living in this building, especially a guy like this, you know, with his political and his racist, you know, ideology. So it's kind of interesting, man. He's got protesters in front of his house every day. Like, what are you doing here? I like the old man from, what's my man from Trespass?
Art Evans.
Art Evans, yeah. He's so good at this kind of role, man. He's
like, the dollhouse, you gonna pay. The dollhouse gonna make you pay.
So basically, you know, the story goes, you know, the slaves now have inhabited these dolls now. A lot of the spirits, they, you know, inside of these dolls, but it's kind of funny too, because there's a scene where it's like, I went around here looking for it. I ain't see no dolls. But there's a painting of an old woman sitting in a rocket chair with all these mini dolls you know, up under her. So it's kind of,
she's supposed to be the one who bought the house after initially, you know, all that stuff happened, and then she was able to transfer the souls into the dolls. And then they put the painting up and stuff.
So now he's the owner, but it's funny because his aide one day he's taking a photo of him, and all of a sudden my man falls down the steps. It's so funny, man. The way it's comical, man. I mean,
you see the little dog.
He dies. He hits his head on the wall. But yeah, that's the part that's funny to me, because you're like, how the hell did this dude trip? And all of a sudden, there's a doll there, like on the side of the steps.
When he rewatches the video,
they haven't seen no dolls the whole time, but the doll ain't. It's just laying there, like this doll,
like his arm up, like he tripped. He tripped this big ass grown man.
So then one night he's in there, and all of a sudden, man, it's funny, man. You know, you look at the painting, there's noises in this thing, and some of the dolls are missing from the painting, like where they're supposed to be. It's white there, like they disappeared. It's like white out. And then, and these dolls, man, they start coming after these dudes. This one is actually kind of funny, man. I like that it's, even though you got to set up, like I said, the commentary's there, man. The political, you know, this guy, who he is. But then it's one of the most fun sequences, I think, because these dolls, they're pretty kind of like a claymation animated stop motion.
It really looks cool. It's visually appealing.
And they're all just running around, bro. And then they just round this guy up. They pretty much hound him down. Like at first, there's a few of them missing from the painting. Then all of a sudden, all of them are missing, man. And I love when they finally roll up on them, and they're like hundreds deep. Because like I said, there was hundreds of slaves that were killed. And then they just rushed this dude, man. And what's my favorite scene in that is when the old lady appears, sitting in her rocking chair, just like smiling, looking at them. Fuck this dude up, But I'm kind of like, I'm gonna fight these damn dolls, bro, because he just rolled over and
he was trying to fight. He was shooting them and he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But every time I'm taking something
with me, like what's that Denzel mean? I'm leaving with something.
I feel you. You know what I liked about this too is like like you said, the social commentary is there, and it's gratifying to see the end result. You know what I'm saying? Because this dude deserved what happened. But I like the camera angles and how like this one kind of hits the same way as what you would get from the third installment of Trilogy of Terror or any other film that or Chucky or the Child's Play. Anything where you get that POV view and you hear
from the dolls.
You hear the pitter patter of the feet. You see the camera angle, but they put you through the eyes of the doll, and I thought that was a really cool approach to take. You know what I'm saying? With this style of story.
It's kind of funny, man. Like just seeing the whole thing and just the dolls, man. The way they're used, like we don't really see them moving a lot until later when I guess budgetary constraints. But just having them sitting on the steps, like right there, looking at him, like came out of nowhere.
And he's like open the mouth up a little bit, the eye,
and he's talking to him and shit. And then you turn around and he's gone, but then like you still hear noises.
The part that really kind of creeped me out is like once he starts realizing that the dolls are disappearing from the painting, and he starts smacking the painting with with a flag or something, and then you see the woman's mouth start to bleed. I was like, oh man, like that's where it really it shifts gears with this story. It's like, oh man, this painting is a lot more alive than he was ready for. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was dope. And then so after that, of course, our three guys, Stack, Ball, and Bulldog, they are pissed. They're like, dude, you are taking us every which way except for to where the shit is. Like we want to get our drugs. We want to get up out of here. The patience
they're getting creeped out,
worn thin. And he's like, oh no, you guys, this is where you see Mr. Sims. He's kind of like, he has a tonal shift. Like he opened the door with confidence, but at this point, like as they are deeper now into the mortuary, and you know he kind of has his hooks all the way in him. He's like, oh no, y'all want to see what's in this coffin, and he lifts up the coffin, and it ends up being, you know, a rival gang member, a dude that they killed, and he's like, and the one dude, the refried beans, what's his name, Ball. He's the one who, you know, that says that, you know, you should only fry beans the first time and do it right. He's like, yo, y'all gonna trip out off this? Look who it is and stuff. And so then we get this story of this dude, Crazy K, who's a rival gang member and everything. And when we dive into this story, I mean, right off gate, you see that he's just it's senseless violence at its core, you know what I'm saying? He's just riding by and he sees somebody that, you know, apparently was talking trash about him or something. He turns around, bucks at you. He's like, yeah, I'm going to kill you now. And he follows him, kills him. And then, you know, as this dude's friends, you know, come out and, you know, fire back on Crazy K, the police come and everything and, you know, kind of save Crazy K. He's now locked up, but he gets this one chance, this one crazy opportunity where this woman comes and is like, yo, you know, you're going to get, her name, it was Rosalind Cash. I don't know what her name was she was the actress who played the woman. She's like, you get this one opportunity, you know. She plays
Dr. Cushing.
Dr. Cushing. And, you know, this was her last role, too, because she passed shortly after this movie.
What?
Rest in peace to her. Yeah. You know, she's like, yeah, you know, we're going to give you this one opportunity to cut your sentence and give you, you know, a chance to reflect on your wrongdoings, you know, really reform, really, you know, realize that what you're doing is so senseless, so meaningless, and just so ultra violent, and you can change your ways. But it's going to be a really, really deep dive into your psyche to do that. And, you know, it's wild because, like, you know, you see, at first he's kind of like, he's still got his persona. He's like, man, nah, man, ain't nobody gonna break me, woo, woo, woo. And they, you know, initially they put him next to a white supremacist guy, and the guy, he's saying all this crazy stuff. And I mean, like,
I feel like this segment is a stop the violence moment. They're trying to kind of put this thing like you're killing your own people. Like this is, you know, like,
and you know,
that's what they're getting at. You know, I'm just laughing at my man Sideburns. Yo,
he got the mutton chops. He got the mutton chops.
But then it's like a trapezoid on the bottom.
it's like his Sideburns are playing Tetris.
There's
and
no
shit.
way you would have had that cut in 95.
No, especially not with a clean shaven K in the top of your head too. But nevertheless, we navigate through this. So they're just trying to, you know, kind of pretty much prep him for what's to come, you know, by putting him next to this one particular prisoner, and then they bring him down to like this cellar, and they do all this crazy stuff. They strap him up into this crazy machine, and it spins him in circles, and they got him all strapped down, and they shove this tube up his nose and fill him up with liquid, and then they play all these crazy videos, and it's like all this, like this imagery, these subliminal messages of just like they're showing the ultra violence that has happened throughout the course path of time when it comes to you know, people being killed over senseless violence. And it really starts to just break him down, but doesn't break him in the right way. Like he instead of realizing that what he was doing was, you know, wrong, and that he can kind of correct his ways, and he's still a young man, he kind of, you know, change his ways, change his course path, his mindset and everything. He then turns around, finds a way to hold the nurse hostage, and he's like, yeah, bump that. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. You know, y'all gonna get me up out of here. Y'all trying to drive me crazy. And that's why I really like this story, because what it was actually a play in his mind. It was whatever powers that be, or whatever the case may be, giving him an opportunity like, yo, this is your one chance that you have to change your ways, to change your mindset, to shift gears and switch lanes in your life. And, you know, he starts, you know, oh, I don't care. I don't give a F. I don't give a F. And so instead of him getting an opportunity for survival, he starts saying that he doesn't give a crap when to the people that actually, it brings him back to real time when he's laid on the ground and, the other 3 gang members was about to take him out, and he starts telling them, I don't give a F. I don't give a F. They were like, yeah, well, we don't either. Bang, 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 bang. And, opportunity was lost, where this is one of those ones where it's not really scary, but it's a thinker.
Yeah, they're definitely doing the social commentary thing. I feel like this thing that they're doing to him is weird, man, because first of all, like, it's wild to me that they're going to ignore a guy that's got multiple murders and give him amnesty to try this experiment. That's crazy to me. Yeah. But it is Clockwork Orange-esque. I think that's what they were going for. They were trying to psychologically train him to be averse to violence and all this stuff. But interestingly enough, we get to the end, he's beyond that now. I think that's why he ends up dead, because they realize we can't fix him. It's too late.
No, he's broken.
Because he even says, he's like, what? Because they try to, drill and say, look at what you've done. And he's like, okay, but I'm also a product of what was done to me. Yes. It's like violence begets violence. Yeah. It's crazy, man. And I think
kill or be killed,
And it is an interesting take on this stuff. It doesn't give us any definitive answers or nothing, but just the fact that they took the time to look at it, because what do you do? Can someone be redeemed? Some people really can't, bro. Can't. There's people that just can't, man.
They're set in their ways.
And we're talking about indoctrinated. Like even if you put this guy in a nice environment and give him, a means, who's going to say that he's not going to be triggered just by being out, just by the way he came up, always looking over his shoulder, his life could be snuffed out at any minute. It's crazy, man. It's wild.
Or just trying to establish dominance in every situation. I mean, these are things that once it's ingrained in your mind, you cannot cannot unlearn that.
Yeah, this feels like Drop Squad in a way, how they try to program the guys in Drop Squad, which is also like I said, taken from Clockwork Orange. But then, that leads us to a final thing with our 3 guys who came to this funeral parlor. And it's interesting because finally we're thinking they're about to get the shit. And my man, Clarence Williams, what's his name?
Mr. Sims.
Yeah, Mr. Sims takes them to the basement, to this other back room, and all of a sudden there's 3 coffins in them, and it's kind of predictable, but it's also interesting. They go up and they flip these lids, and it's each one of them. So apparently, crazy enough, they find out after they got their revenge on this guy that some other guys rolled up and smoked all 3 of them. So they're effectively, the whole time they've been dead, man, which is kind of interesting take. And then, it's funny because they're looking at it. He's like, what is this, man?
I love Bulldog. He looks like, what's going on? I mean, they're all scared, but his reaction was great.
What's going on? All of a sudden, my man eyes get red, Mr. Sims.
Yes,
and then they're
strips the clothes.
But their guns start burning up. Everybody's sweating all of a sudden, especially Mr. Sims. His face is drenched. And everybody's sweating, but then he morphs into, I guess, this depiction of the devil, which I can only assume it is, and basically it's like, welcome to hell, man. This ain't just a funeral home, you know what I'm saying? And
it ain't the Terror Dome either.
Yeah, and then the film ends, on that, playing some gangster rap, So, but
Scarface song.
Yeah, it's wild because this thing does have a soundtrack that had came out at the time, featuring a lot of people, man.
A dope soundtrack, man. You get Wu-Tang Clan, you got Scarface Face Mob, you got the Gravediggers, you got fucking Havoc and Prodigy, a Mob Deep, MC8, Spice One, The Chill, The Click. I mean, Inspector Deck. This was his first song that he actually produced the beat for, and then you got Old Dirty Bastard on there. I mean,
MC8.
Dude, MC8. I mean, dude, Domino, yes, yes, man. So I mean, the soundtrack was dope, dude. I actually downloaded it on YouTube earlier this week and listened to it while I was working my little part timer, man, and. It was fun. It was a fun ride, man.
Yeah, it's wild, man. I mean, overall, like I said, I appreciate the effort. It's not one that I will revisit the whole time. I feel like once I've seen it, this is probably the second time I've seen it ever. I saw it when it hit VHS back in the day, around 95, after the initial theatrical run. And this is my first time watching it again. And there was a lot of stuff that I forgot, you know what I'm saying? But overall, man, like I said, I appreciate the effort, man. It definitely, I think it was successful box office wise.
It was. It doubled up. It had a $6 million budget, and then it box officed $11.8 million. So.
Yeah, and it gave us something because it really was at the time, man. It wasn't that many black themed horror stuff, man, at the time, man. I think maybe we got Candyman a little bit before this, but it's still not as much as black people watch horror films and are afraid of, aware of the Freddys and Jasons and all that shit. We still don't get a lot of stuff being catered, to that audience. And I think maybe now things are starting to change with the success of Jordan Peele and his stuff. We're getting more, things of that nature. But yeah, this was a landmark film when it came out.
And also with this coming out in '95, this was also the height of, like the quote unquote hood flicks where, we were getting like Boys in the Hood and, Menace and South Central and, New Jersey Drive, all these things, which carry a very serious undertone, respectively so. And this one kind of just took a different approach at still tackling the same subject matter, but doing it in a very unique way that, like I said, just kind of gives it its own lane to ride in. And I thoroughly enjoy this film. I love anthologies. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's like watching a bunch of little movies in one sitting. And with this one, I mean, that just like I said, that anchor story is it's probably my favorite story of all of them, honestly, just with what we get from Clarence Williams and everything that he's doing. Rewatching it this week, I was just like, man, it kind of like, it took me back to that time. Like I remember when I first watching it with the fellas and everything, and we was all just like, wow, especially, the last story when you find out the correlation between the three dudes and Crazy K, and then my man's like, yeah, you in hell, it's just like, it was jarring at the time, and that's a good feeling. And this one still, respectively, it holds up for what it was trying to do then, and still kind of being relevant with the issues that we're still tackling currently in today's age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was up, man. I think we could wrap this up, folks, man. We're going to be back next time. We got one more, man. The month, to wrap this up, I think we're going to be doing Lord of Illusions for y'all, man, which is a... oh, my bad. The Mouth of Madness, man. In the Mouth of Madness. The Mouth of Madness. Yeah, man. That's one of my favorite guys, man. John Carpenter, kind of flick. So yeah, man, we're going to be out of here, folks. We're going to catch up with y'all next time. Like the channel, subscribe, tell your friends about us, man. Check out the merch and the links below. And follow us on Instagram at Class of Cinematics. You can follow me at Monkey Blood on Instagram and Twitter.
And it's Bobby Blockbuster. As always, you can catch me on the next show. And those that know me can catch me in real life.
I do want to give you a warning for that last story in the film, man. Like when my man goes into that reprogramming phase, they should have definitely put an epilepsy warning on this, because I was struggling to. I was like, man, I never had a seizure, but like, there's a lot. They OD on that flashing light, bro. It's crazy.
Flashing lights, big time. All of the lights.
All right, we out of here, folks. Peace.